There are still 3 more games to go in the ICC World Cup quarter-finals in Australia and New Zealand. India play Bangladesh in Melbourne on Thursday, followed by Australia versus Pakistan in Adelaide on Friday. Both games have a 3:30 GMT start time. And the last quarter-final game will be between New Zealand and the West Indies in Wellington at 1 o'clock GMT. The winner of that game will face South Africa in the last tour. To talk about this scintillating victory, we are joined by cricket correspondent Zaahier Adams, who watched the action in Sydney. Zaahier, a pretty one-sided game ends with a crushing victory for South Africa. How surprised were you by this result?
I think we weren't too surprised by the result. I think it's more the margin of victory, in terms of the margin of victory, as I say. I think the fact that it was the shortest World Cup knockout game in history, I think that was more the surprise. The fact that South Africa steamrolled Sri Lanka in the fashion that they did, I think that was the greatest surprise. A really big performance by South Africa and really laying down a marker for the rest of the tournament.
JP Dumini and Imran Tahir were the star turns for South Africa, while out-of-form Quinton de Kock returned to form. Is there a feeling that some parts of the Proteas team are beginning to click?
I think we spoke to JP Dumini after the game, and he basically said it was a 10 out of 10 performance, and it's hard to argue with him in that regard. Everything clicked for South Africa today. The bowling right from the start with Dale Steyn really setting the tone. I think he's been a bit quiet during this World Cup, and he's come up and really put his hand up today. Likewise, Kyle Abbott, a fresh energy into the team with a new ball, started really well. And Imran Tahir and JP Dumini basically continued the good work from the fast men up front. And Imran Tahir is a really special bowler in terms of what he does in these big games for South Africa. Another fourfer at the SCG to follow his fiver a couple of weeks ago. So that's another big tick box. I think JP Dumini's performance though with the ball, that is really something South Africa can take forward in terms of the fact that he provides the balance as the all-rounder, coming in at number 6 and 7 and being able to bowl his full quota of overs. That is what South Africa has been searching for throughout this World Cup, and he really ticked the box today.
Much was made about the South Africans' choker tag before this match. Have they dispelled those fears with this victory?
The choker tag, that's quite a funny thing around the team. It's something that they know is going to come up. They know that they have to hear about it all the time. AB de Villiers came out yesterday, and in the same manner, the way he dispatches the ball through the covers, he came out and said, "We won't choke," and everybody was quite surprised that he was brave enough and bold enough to actually go out there and say it. And the fact that they have now won this match and followed up what the captain has wanted from his team, I think that will fill the team with confidence. They do know though that the World Cup's not over. It's one game, and unfortunately, all those elements of mental pressure and how they deal with it will come up again next week ahead of the semi-final. So it's something that they will that follows them until they actually win the World Cup and come home with the World Cup. That is unfortunately the inevitability for this team because of what has happened before. So it's a great moment for South African cricket in terms of winning their first World Cup knockout match. But unfortunately, it comes back next week again, and it starts all over. It does follow them until Melbourne for the final.
Zaahier, thank you for speaking to Sports News Africa.